streaming button. We're now live. Hello, I'm Anthony Mackem. Welcome along to Transfer Deadline Day. Today I'm joined with the lovely, an absolute cluster of Mackems on here. You've got Cabby in the top left.
Morning.
Morning at 9 p.m. You've got Dov, who's on mute, and he's going to be keeping up to date with the live scores around the Premier League and a couple of extra updates away from the Sunderland news. Isn't that right, Mr. Dov? He's going to be awkwardly silent for a little bit now.
Yes.
There you go. We've also got two lovely people from RWA. You've got Paul Wilson and Bradley Young. Welcome, boys. Good evening. And then finally, good evening. And finally, we have Yorkshire Mackem. Jacob.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. So, there's been a lot of news today, and I'm going to hold my hand up. I thought deadline day should be done and dusted by the time September starts. And you informed me, yeah, actually the deadline's on Friday. What are you talking about? I was very surprised. I thought, oh, we'd have all the things done and dusted by midnight. We'll have this one go live and we can talk about everything confirmed. It's at 11 o'clock though, isn't it, the deadline today? So it's just 2 hours away.
Is this a 2 hour extra deadline day special program then?
No, it's going to go for just the 1 hour. I think the final hour after this, which is also kind of a nice bit of plug, I'm going to be jumping on to the RWA channel and I'm going to be doing the last deadline hour over there. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of Sunderland tonight. But yeah, good evening, Anth. Good evening, SFC Uploads in the live chat. Rosie Law's here as well. Well, who should we talk about first? Because there's only been one confirmed person leaving the club today. And that is Lyndon Gooch. He's officially left the club. They've had the announcement. There's all the nice tweets and all of that. Thank you for your service. That kind of messaging for Lyndon Gooch on the Twitter. Should we talk about Gooch first? Who's confirmed is leaving? There's other people that are looking at leaving, but we'll build up to the people that have come in as well, because I think the come in conversation is going to be a lot more positive than the people leaving. So get the crap out of the way first, right? Oh, right. So Lyndon Gooch, he's been here for nearly 2 decades, 17 years. He's played 247 first team games. That's just off the top of my head. I think I heard it or saw it earlier on. Yeah, an absolute talisman for the club. How upset or how angry, happy? What's your feelings around Gucci leaving? I'll go with Cabby first because he's just popped in evening in the chat. So, Cabby, you go first. What's your thoughts on Gooch leaving?
Yeah, I'm not too bothered. He's been a good servant for the club, but I don't think he's going to be a huge miss. He's too hot and cold. I don't think he's the player to carry us forward if we're wanting to make a challenge for the Premier League. Best of luck to the lad. I'm not pissed off. I'm not disappointed. I'm not happy. I'm sort of just neutral towards it, to be honest with you. He's been, as you say, he's been in the club long enough. Good luck to the lad, but I'm not disappointed.
Fair enough. If you're not disappointed, that means it's generally okay. You can take it on the chin. We'll go with Paul next. Paul, what's your thoughts on Gucci?
To be honest, in a way, I am a bit upset that we've actually lost another kind of our youngsters. You know how long he's been here. But I'm going to say actually one of my favourite goals actually for him is actually the Papa John's Trophy final.
You got us our first Wembley win, even though there was no fans there.
Yeah, he did.
What do you think he provides today that we'll miss? Or is it just because of that legacy that he has with the club for you?
I think it's just because of how long he's been here. Yeah, I think he's been here under a lot of managers, but
17 years worth, mate. I think he remembers. Who did he come in under? Like, because obviously he was an academy player when we recruited him.
I've seen a picture of him with Martin O'Neill, him signing into the academy. So
Wow.
technically, so since 2010, 2011.
That's mad.
I think for me, though, I think Gooch would be missed around the academy.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, I'm giggling because Adam French has come in and said basically what we're always thinking.
Alex Neil.
No, it does start with the same starting word, but I'm not going to do it just in case the overlords of the algorithm or whatever that start to mess with my channel again. The upload says pace for Gooch. I personally feel like Gooch's pace early doors, especially in like his first 7-8 seasons prior to us to getting relegated from the Premier League, was up there. Like I don't think many people could beat him for pace. Now, since his like 20 different injuries that he's had, small niggling issues that he's had over time, that pace has kind of dropped off. But it's also because he could be older. It could just simply because he's starting to get towards that more maturity, that more level-headed professional, I guess, rather than the young talent that we kind of have a model around. That kind of pace has stepped off a bit. So yes, he did have pace. He's still a very fast player, but I think we've got other players that are faster than him down that side of the pitch already. Correct me if I'm wrong there, boys.
I mean, like you mentioned about the Wembley thing, and that it was a cracking finish, and I do agree with you that one. I do remember him for that, getting our first trophy in our era at Wembley. Took it well.
Oh yeah, it was literally the only goal of the game, so we needed that. But yeah, I'll go into my thoughts on Gooch himself leaving. Before that, I just want to see what Jacob thinks.
Overall, players are going to leave, aren't they? And regardless, still support the club. If a player goes, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it does hurt a bit because he's been with us for a while, hasn't he? And he's an adopted American Mackem, and the fact that he's gone to Stoke, especially with Alex Neil as manager, it kind of stings a bit, doesn't it? But I still wish him well, and he's still a Mackem through and through in my eyes. So yeah, I wish him well. Yeah. Hopefully, he doesn't score against us when we play him.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to have with every player that potentially leaves us over the next hour or two. They've come in, they've done the job, and they've Gooch more than most, to be fair, that are rumoured to leave. They've adopted what it is to be a Sunderland player, Sunderland fan, and just a Mackem in general. He has adopted the North East as his own home. I think probably he's depending on how his career goes. If he ever, like when he retires and wants to stay in the football sphere, I think there'll be lots of people who would happily have him up. I think he could place the squad of the 73 with meeting the fans, meeting the players, that kind of thing. I think he could be a club talisman for the future.
Do you think he'll stay in the North East when he retires, or do you think he might stay in Staffordshire near Stoke?
Well, it depends on how close he's moving towards me, but so it depends on how close he moves towards me. But there's loads of nice towns and villages and stuff like that in Staffordshire, especially near Stoke. I don't think he'll be staying in Stoke itself, but around it. Beautiful countryside, beautiful place. I think he'll stay there for at least his 2 years. And if he falls in love with the area like I have, it might be one of his there. Rosie's changed that.
Yeah, I remember it. Do you remember his goal against MK Dons? MK Dons away in 2019-2020 season.
Yeah.
Oh, it was proper beauty. That goal as well as
the just gone 2-0 up.
I was actually there for that, Jacob.
Yeah, crowd went wild, didn't they? Because I think it was quite a late goal, wasn't it? I'm not sure, but fans went mental.
Yeah, I think the goals I think he was used a little bit differently earlier doors with our like club. He was that right attacking winger. He was more creative, and then I think eventually he started with those couple of injuries and the drop down the leagues. He was used more as a level-headed right wing back rather than like a right winger. So I think
he went through all the shit, didn't he? He went through all the bad times at Sunderland.
He's been through our highs and he's been through our lowest of lows. So I think that
he went through the Premier League relegation He played a bit under Moyes on the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah,
but not too much.
I think he had like 20 games in the Premier League for us, exactly. So it's just, yeah, Uploads is absolutely agreeing that MK Don's goal was unreal. But I think ultimately for me, I think if it's the right thing for him as a player and him, I think there's the current model, the current restructure, the current play style of Sunderland is starting to move away from how he can impact games. Like, don't get me wrong, when we had a lot of injuries last season, he was there and he done the job. He does exactly what Luke O'Nien does. He'll do what he's told in the shirt for us. Like, he just wants to put his best foot forward every single game. It might not be in his most natural position, but he'll still give a good go at it. And he's had flack off fans over the year for not performing in that role he's been kind of patched into. So I think there's a lot to be said about how good he performed for us over that long tenure with us. I think anybody who's basically like, yeah, he's gone now, let's forget about him, I think that's a little bit disrespectful for the amount of work and effort he put into the club. So yeah, just I think if we're all like in agreement, I think we've just got to recognise how good some players have been. Like, here's another example. Somebody who's left earlier in the window, Lahaji. Like, who cares? Nobody cares that Lahaji's came in, played 6 games, and then gone. We've got a tiny bit of profit for him. That's it. I think there's going to be a lot more of a culture change around like just the players in the locker room at the academy. There's going to be a massive shift. Not seeing that regular face that you're going to see that you've been seeing week in, week out for a decade. The fact that SFC Uploads, one of the promotionables. I don't think that's the term, I'm going to use it, but he's gone through the downs, he's gone through the ups, and I think without him,
and he was there when we got promoted to Championship, wasn't he? So
yeah, I think without him and his mentality in the club at the time, I think we could have potentially fell further. That's the kind of work I think he's done to us. We've got to recognise, obviously, there's a lot of managers and putting them in the right place and making sure he's been injured so many different times and he's come back fighting every single time. That is not a very common feat. Some people get injured and just sack off the club that they're doing because they just don't like it. But he's adopted Sunderland. He's adopted the Mackem life for him in his career. Now he's moved to Stoke. I think it's probably the best thing for him if he wants to continually play week in, week out. I think Alex Neil at Stoke will play him because he knows him quite well. Once he gets over his current minor injury, he'll be on the pitch pretty much every week for Stoke. And I think as long as he doesn't score goals or create really good chances against us, like I just wish him the best.
He might say to Alex Neil, "Look, I might not want to play against Sunderland."
So, no, I don't think that's him, and I wouldn't expect that from him either, because he's a professional. He puts his heart on his sleeve, and even if it is now going to be in the Potter shirt for 2 years, I think that's what we would expect him to come.
Some news has just come in.
Okay, what's that?
A Sunderland account called the SAFC Bible 1879.
Okay.
Screenshotted a Twitter account which is verified called Football Insider. Exclusive. Okay. Ross Stewart has failed his Southampton medical and the deal is off. Apparently.
That was going to be my next person. That was the next person I was going to talk about. One of the promotionables, I guess, that SFC Upload is talking about. But yeah, should we move on to Ross Stewart now?
Yeah.
His entire situation, even to probably the next hour and a half, has been an absolute comedy drama show from everybody touching it. I think everybody is fully aware that his eyes are massively elsewhere. He has played fantastic football. He scored a lot of good goals for Sunderland. He's been out of the game since January 29th, something like that. He's been out of the game for nearly 8 months. He's never really, at least publicly, said that he wants to stay with the club. There's been no real firming of his contract or anything like that. Nothing has ever been publicised. So I think it's one of those things where RW is gone. Brad's dropped out for some reason. The whole Ross Stewart. Sorry, he's just popped up on my rotation of images. He if he comes back, like if that Southampton medical does stop that deal going through, he can feel a medical, by the way, because he's got a broken Achilles. He could feel that medical side of it, but that could be part of his fitness. So he could still be.
Mean he's staying at Sunderland though. He could still go to Southampton.
He could still go to Southampton. He just fails his medical. Until he passes his medical, he can't play for them. That's what the medical is for. So everybody still knows he's a strong attacking player. He can absolutely bag goals. He had the highest goal percentage per minute, whatever you call it, goal per minute ratio in the league. From the 19 games he played, he bagged absolute metric ton, and he was like top of the goal scoring list until he got injured. He could have potentially been the league's top scorer last season if he didn't get that Achilles injury. So I'm more accepting, and I'm already over the talking points of Ross Stewart. I think we've got a couple of signings that have come in that are already good potential replacements for them. Before he came into the championship with us, he hadn't played a single championship minute. So it's proof that we can get people in, we can do temporary deals and get the right people in who are match ready. I think his injury last season kind of tempered it, and if he comes back, like if this transfer does completely fold and he comes back to full fitness, I'm okay with him seeing them in the numbers Sunderland shirt again. But I think we've already got 2-3 replacements, especially rumoured at the academy right now, that could do his job. I don't know if they could do his job as well from day one, but they could definitely do his job longer term. So that's where I'm at. I'll catch up.
In a way, when Ross Stewart joined us, he was actually injured. He came with an injury.
Yeah, the best season for him, for us, was that League One season. He didn't miss a single game, and he basically helped us get promoted. It's as simple as that.
22, yeah.
Yeah. Beyond that, 19 games in a 46-game campaign last season. Oh, it's a 48-game campaign if you count the 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
That's not a really good return. It's just over it's between 30 and 40% of games he was able to make. So we've had to do 60 to 70% of the season without him. And I think he is going to be missed. His talent is absolutely undeniable. But I think we've already got everybody and a lot of fans. Kevin's there, Robert's there, Uploads is there, just basically saying, we're done. If he's gone, he's gone. We're accepting it. He was good for us, but he was essentially, he did a job and left. It was just another another name in the hat that's potentially just gonna go. So
Embleton's gone to Derby on loan, hasn't he? Elliot Embleton's gone to Derby County on loan.
I'm more upset with that, but I'm also it's kind of the right thing for him, because he's not leaving the club permanently, but also he's coming back from a very serious injury, a leg break. So with Embleton, I understand that leaving the club to potentially get more match fit, get back into the competitive level that he was at League One. I think that's a good decision from us, from the club, and for the player. Yeah, I'm okay with the Embleton. I don't consider as a complete because we can recall him at any point if we really need him. So
that's actually what Speaking has said, though, because the club has confirmed that he's gone to Derby County.
Mm-hmm.
But Speakman's actually said that Sunderland will actually review his progress in January.
Sunderland have said that. Speakman
has actually said it.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 3 minutes ago, Elliot Embleton will spend the remainder of the season at Derby County. Good luck, Embo. They've just released a statement 3 minutes ago on that. Cabby, what's your thoughts on well, first Ross Stewart, because I think I've rambled a little bit around him, but then Embo as well.
Ross Stewart, he did the job for us, didn't he? When he was here. I never forget the goal he scored. They
At Wembley.
at Wembley when they give us 2-0 up, which literally rubber stamped us back to the championship. You can't knock his workload when he played for us. You know, I mean, remember that goal of Sheffield Wednesday in the playoffs when he chased that ball. He never gave up. So you know, you can't say he was like a lazy player. Why he's away, why he wants to go, only him will know. I don't know. But
Ka-ching,
I think
ka-ching.
ka-ching. I think a lot of Sunderland fans have sort of just fell out of love with the guy because of the fact like he was just sidelined constantly, and it just seemed to like wear thin now. And I think a lot of fans were getting to a stage now saying like, well, just good riddance if you're going. Thanks a lot, but we'll see you later.
Just don't score against us when you come back.
He won't. He'll be sidelined, man. It's no good
Well,
having someone just sitting on the bench all the time, is it?
He could do in the away fixture when we play Southampton in March. So
yeah, he's not going to, like we've always been saying he should be match fit and match ready again by the time the international break is over and done with. So yeah, it's unlikely that he's ever going to play tomorrow. Like that's, I think, a bit too soon for him to come back. We weren't, even if he was staying with us, we weren't going to play him tomorrow because he's still not fully there. So that would have been, too soon. But the March game, like Jacob just said, makes sense. Yeah, Robin Hood in the chat's also said, I'm reading the Stewart deal has collapsed. The Kevin have said, not Keith, because Keith's the Sky Sports guy. It said about an hour ago that they're keeping Che Adams and not pursuing the deal. So it looks like Southampton might be an option that's completely gone for Ross Stewart.
Could do Middlesbrough. He could do, because there were Middlesbrough were rumoured with him, weren't there, and Stoke. So
that player before Sunderland are making a frantic late bid for Crystal Palace winger Jesurum Raksaki.
Sakri, yeah.
Yeah, Raksakri. As fears grow that Patrick Roberts will be sold.
He's not.
Patrick Roberts is confirmed to be staying. Latest rumours were he's confirmed to come.
I don't think he looks happy, does he, Roberts? Like Pritchard, I think he wants to go, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Don't surprise me.
I'm quite chuffed and also a little bit. I'm much happier today now that I've got some signs coming in. If it was all exits, I'd be absolutely livid. But Embo going out on loan, I think is the right thing for him. It just is. He fully did a leg snap, didn't he? Like his leg completely broke. It's now fully mended. He was in the squad last week because they wanted to get them back into the dressing room with the players and get him back around other players on match days, get them back into that buzz. Now that he's gone out to Derby, I think that's still the right thing for him. He will be in the squad for Derby this weekend. I don't know if he's going to start, but it'll be around the players again, and then he'll start to review it. So if he goes out on loan to Derby, picks up a knock that you've got a broken leg. I've got a broken arm. Anytime I do anything with vigor with it, if I don't know, put up a shelf or whatever, it can re-engage it.
Embo will be in that squad because
he'd be in the squad. I don't know if he's going to start, but he would definitely be in the squad.
Yeah.
Because for him to play tomorrow, he would actually have to sign before 12 o'clock today.
Yeah, totally agreed. Kevin,
but we have just seen on Southampton side, the response I've got re Ross Stewart report is that is completely false.
Which false? Which report is false? The fact that the deals collapsed, or the fact that the deals come for it? Like, which part of that report is false?
I saw that as well on a story on Instagram. That it's false.
That's the medical is failed.
Got it. Yeah, like I said, you can fail a medical if you've got an Achilles injury. You can't do the treadmill test, right? You can't do full sprint on the treadmill. They'll do a lung capacity test. They'll do a reflex test, and they'll do the stuff that doesn't cause you to put more stress on a current injury that they're fully aware of. Like that, you can fail a medical, but also still pass it, if that makes sense. You can do pull-ups, you can do other stuff for the medical. You just can't do that one test, which if you can't do one part of a physical test, you fail it. It's as simple as that. So he could fail the medical and still be sold to them. I think it's just keep an eye on what's happening with that as well. Kevin said his biggest concern, in all earnest, is Jack Clark going to be the same player because he's seemingly unhappy. He wants to leave, or it's rumoured that he wants to leave. What are your thoughts on that, boys? Because I think that's a really good point. We're keeping Clark. He's been confirmed to be staying. We're not going to consider the 5, 7, 8, 9, whatever Burnley's offering now. What are your thoughts on Clark?
He's a good player, isn't he? And he did really well last season. And if he went, it'd be devastating. But going to Prem, innit? I mean, if a company, like out of the football world, if a company's offering you more money than the current company you're at, you're probably going to take it, aren't you?
Your head's definitely going to be turned at the very least, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I won't necessarily snap his head off, because I could sort of understand why, but I'd be a bit disappointed. Because he won't be getting much game time, would he? He's in Prem. I don't think he'd get much game time. He'd be on sub mainly.
Yeah.
So, I hope it's all false. But if he goes, and it can't do what about it.
So I think Clark didn't. Does Clark play left or right? I can't remember. Clark's on the.
I think he's left, isn't he?
Clark's on the left. Sorry, Roberts is on the right. So Roberts replaced Gooch eventually. That's what they've done. Who do we have that would replace Clark if he does go? Apparently, you've got Bennett, who we might be letting go out on loan, depending on what happens with him after he's been called up to Costa Rica, so that's an interesting one. But we've got players that we're bringing in. This Russian guy, he looks like he might be able to replace Roberts if he goes. We've got the new lad from Chelsea. Oh, Waghurst?
Mason, is it Barstrom?
Barstrom, that's it, Barstrom. We've got Barstrom from Chelsea, that could be up there. We're getting more and more options. Like Robin said, having a second striker around could have gone a long way, but glad he's staying, I guess. Glad that we've got that crux of Clark staying there. You've got the people, if they are leaving, if they're still with the club and the club's saying, well, we really want you to stay because we're investing in you. I think that's a much better thing than somebody coming along going, you might be a good fit here. Here's some money. Like, that doesn't seem like it's a really good approach. Especially if his head's getting purely turned by money, we need to review how much money is starting to turn his head and making him unhappy, because he's getting game time here. We're preferring him for game time. Yeah, there's these options that are coming in, these new players that are coming in, but I think if Clark's fully fit and mentally in it, we're still going to pick him week in, week out. Do you agree, disagree?
I agree. It will start a lot, won't it? Still,
We're dependent on him. We have no direct replacement for him, and he does change games.
I've heard apparently there's been people saying he's unhappy, but I don't see why he would be unhappy, because he's been starting a lot, hasn't he? So,
like I said, he'd be unhappy purely on the money side of it. I don't think we're in a situation where I'm getting more and more trust, and I'm actually backing Speakman and the recruitment and KLD with how logically they're playing the game. That essentially, I think we're bringing in the right people who are motivated to prove themselves in a footballing career. They've got a season to prove themselves for Sunderland. If you're absolutely shit hot and we get promoted because you're here, that's you proving that you can do the job and us backing you when we do get promoted. So I kind of like how we're doing that. It is that Brentford, Brighton, to a lesser degree Southampton and Bournemouth model of years gone past. The youth model is a very risky game, because you could get players that are not ready, that won't be ready for another 2-3 years, but you can see the potential in them. So yeah, it's a nice weird juggling balance that I think we've got. I think with Embo going out on the loan, that makes sense because he's not 100% Embo. He's probably about 80-85% Embo that we were expecting, right? Same with if Ross Stewart's out, I don't think he's 100% Ross Stewart anymore. I think he's probably about 90-95% Ross Stewart, which is still a really good Ross Stewart, don't get me wrong, but he's not the one that helped us get promoted. I think the players that we're letting go, it feels like it's the right time to let them go. The players that we're saying, no, you can't go, we're still recognising that they're the players that we want to keep. They are still 100% that player. 100% Clark, 100% Roberts, 100% Pritchard. That kind of thing. Does that make sense to you? Do you want to counter that, I guess?
All makes sense to me.
Cabby, what are you thinking on that? Well, that was weird. Linden Gooch merged from old Linden Gooch to new Linden Gooch on my imagery. Cabby's gone silent. So, Paul, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
To be honest with you, it's interesting because me and Brad was doing a live stream last night, and it actually came out that apparently Burnley actually put a big bid in for actually Jack Clark. I'm just trying to find the tweet, but apparently Jack Clark and his agent
Rejected it.
Isn't actually happy with Sunderland.
That's weird. I don't understand that, though.
I'm just trying to find...
Exactly. He's a starting player, isn't he? So
if your pure ambition is as a professional footballer to play game time, he's getting that, so he shouldn't be unhappy. There's got to be something else, somebody who's interacted with him which he does not like. That's the only thing that
Mowbray.
I can.
I think it's either Mowbray or Speakman.
I think it's highly unlikely to be Mowbray because Mowbray is one of those managers that just gets along with every single play he's ever done. Like you said, he's a head coach. He doesn't sign the players. He doesn't talk them about the contracts. He doesn't do anything financial with them. He just gets the best out of the player. So I think that is highly unlikely that he's pissed off Clark or anything like that. It's a bit strange.
Well, this is the
left wing. Thank you, Kevin.
This is the tweet actually that I've just seen from Peter O'Rourke actually reported last night. Sunderland star Jack Clark, unhappy club, put a block on a potential move for him this summer, and now letting other players move on. Clark was promised he could go if got 10 million offer for him. They got more than 10 million from Burnley, but still turned it down. Player and agent unhappy how the offer and interest from Burnley was handled by Sunderland. They signed Clark for 750k from Spurs and would have made huge profit on him. Only to go back on a promise of selling him for 10 million. Clark and others not happy with the current direction the club is going, with Ross Stewart close to joining Southampton and Patrick Roberts potentially also moving to Southampton.
I'll restate it a little bit. I'm okay with players leaving that are beyond their 100% talent that we've seen them their potential, or they are unhappy, or we're unhappy with them at the club. If it's the right time for the player to go, let them go. If the head's always been turned in every single window at a bigger number, you've got a greedy player. That's as simple as that. He likes money, and he'll go to Saudi League if he was offered it. That's the kind of thing we want to avoid. We don't want another Jack Rodwell. We don't want another Will Grigg. I think you can't compare the current player that you've got to those players, but those type of players, those type of people will get into the professional game. I've just popped into the show to answer someone's question what my predictions are. Uploads, my prediction is on that short. The
do predictions later for tomorrow.
we'll do the predictions for the Southampton game at the very end of this stream, so we'll go through that in about 20 minutes.
We haven't done them in previous Friday ones, have we? I think we've forgotten.
No, we have done it. But it's one of those things, mate. I think with the players that we've got, if your head's turning, if you're purely looking at it as a financial venture, I understand it because players have a finite career. It's very short. It's anywhere between, depending on how good and how good your legs are for you. You could be from 16 to maybe 32 at some stretch, like 34, 35. But you've got that window of time to make as much money as possible to be comfortable for the rest of your life. That's what professional football is. If you're investing in yourself for that 1 year at Sunderland, like the Chelsea player is on loan for us, if he's investing that 1 year with us, we've got to get the best out of that player and highly likely to play most games. But he's also got to perform in that game because Chelsea are looking at him to say, well, is he good enough? Is he doing what Amad Diallo did last season for Sunderland? Is he ready for the first team football at this level? Now, it does surprise me quite a lot with Amad Diallo that he isn't sold on by Manchester United or isn't starting, at least competing for that starting position, because he was absolutely quality for us, and he was pissing through this league for the most of it. So it's striking the right balance, essentially, to answer your question, mate. It's striking the right balance. If the person needs to go and they want to go to another club, I understand it. It's money, it's life, it's their career. But if it's relational, if it's about somebody pissing them off at the club, the manager not being the right person, not getting the best out of them, that needs to change as well, right?
Yeah, apparently I've seen it. Well, I'm not sure if this is true, but apparently Ross Stewart has signed a 4-year contract at Southampton.
Ross Stewart?
Yep.
That's done. What?
Well, Scott Burns, he works for the Record Sport. He put up Ross Stewart has passed his medical and will be confirmed as a Southampton player before the 11 p.m. deadline. He has agreed a 4-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Sunderland will net 8 million plus 2 million transfer fee, and then future add-ons.
With Ross Stewart as well, Ross County get a transfer fee on it as well. So if it is purely about numbers with Ross Stewart, I do think he's going to go today, mate. He has to. If he doesn't, it's just going to drag on again for another 4 or 5 months. So just get rid of him.
Well, some people have said the look on his faces sometimes he don't want to be at Sunderland. I think some people have said you can tell he don't want to be at Sunderland, but I don't know. We don't know, do we? Because we're not him, and we're not in his head, are we? So he goes.
The appearance of somebody's demeanour could be down to they had a horrible breakfast. It could be that, but like people try to read into.
Or someone pissed in their coffee or cereal, you don't know.
Yeah, you literally don't know somebody's emotions in a moment. And I think trying to read into how somebody took a photograph, there could be somebody farted in front of them and just had a waffy spell. Or they could have been just told the most hilarious joke and they look absolutely happy, but they're miserable. Like, a photo is a photo. You can't really...
Someone could be called... Or they could see a Newcastle badge or shirt in front of them and they're thinking, get that shit away.
Yeah.
You know. But... we don't know, do we? We're not in his head 24/7.
Exactly. Robin Hood brings up a really good point. They were good specific money, says Steele. Life is about money. If you can get bigger wages, then you would obviously go. It's our management to sort the money out. It's our ownership to sort the money out. It's Speakman's job. It's the head of recruitment. That I think is where we go from it. But then Robin's added, which adds extra context to this. If that's true, players will start to see the club as more and more distrustful if we can't deliver on what we're promising them when they're signing. It doesn't make sense.
I see the point there, in a way, but...
yeah, sorry.
You know, it's... with some players, we'll be getting a lot of money for them, won't we? Like Stewart will get a lot of money for back at us, won't we? So and we can use that money to buy maybe even better players than Stewart. So
the
way
go on, sorry.
We're not doing an Ellis Short. It's all right. We're not doing an Ellis Short, are we? Like just throwing money at shit, are we? Or doing a Stuart Donald. I think it's unique what they're doing.
I find it really strange how we are comparing people to commodities. Yes, they're doing a job and doing a function, but the way they're priced, they're like seen as a house that becomes derelict, or you spruce it up. Like some of them you'll flip and they'll turn a profit on, or some of them you'll depreciate over 2-3 years. It's a really weird industry to like attribute a value to somebody's time and skill. It's a
And you can compare. So while I was walking today with my dad, he told me about, like renting the difference between renting a house and buying a house, and comparing that to loaning a player and buying a player.
Yeah.
It's like if you buy a house and you live there for about, I don't know, 6 years, when you leave that house, you're going to get money, aren't you, for it? It's like Ross Stewart leaving us, we're going to get money for him. But with loan players, you don't, do you? They just go back. It's like when you rent a house, you don't.
Yeah.
You can, similarities there, but.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I've got 2 billion IQ from uploads, but Kevin brings up a really good point. We'd rather sell him now. We'd rather sell the big money for him than lose it completely in 11 months' time. I have a counter argument with that a little bit. You can re-sign a contract and say, can we give you 5% increase and look at selling you in that window, so you earn a profit, we earn a profit, and you're guaranteed another year contract after that if you go out on the open market. So I think the current contract can always be extended at up to the very last minute. If they go on a free, they become a Bradley Dack. Blackburn Rovers did an absolute stupid thing with Bradley Dack, if you ask me. We've got a good quality proven championship player in Bradley Dack.
I think they sold quite a few good players on the Blackburn.
They didn't sell him. They didn't sell him. They let him go. And I think that, for me, is one of those things of literally throwing money into the league and letting it go. It's letting a house go derelict, like if we're using that same analogy. It's very, very strange.
I wouldn't be surprised if Blackburn fans were pissed off about Dak going. If you were a Blackburn fan, you'd probably be fuming, wouldn't you?
I don't think you'd be fuming. I think, again, if the clubs let somebody go, if like we're doing it with Ross Stewart, if the clubs let somebody go who was really good for you, it must have been the right time. The club's seen him, the club's assessed it, the people that at the club are professionals essentially at what they do. We have to trust that professional opinion is valid. It's, again, I'm going to use it. He was with them for like 6-7 years. He's been there for a while. There you go. Ian's saying there. No worries, mate. It's pointless trying to speculate why he's going or how happy or miserable someone looks. Stewart's going. It's as simple as that. Players come and go, but the club endures. The club will be here in 10 years' time.
Forever.
The club will be here in 100 years' time, and this will be an era that people look back and go, "Oh, they were good for us. They were good for us." Like we've done this many times on other Mackem football shows. We've gone, "Oh, Asamoah Gyan, he was class for us." Darren Bent, Defoe, we've done that. The eras have been and gone.
Gary Rowell, Stan Cummins, Ian Portville, Bobby Kirk,
It's just deadline day is a really interesting thing for me. Like it's a sign. West Ham 2-0. Nice. I'll check that goal out in a couple of minutes. For me, the deadline day is a sign of what the current regime at the club thinks is the best thing going forward for the club. If there's no players coming in and it's only players going out, that for me is an absolute red flag of we're going to go down the shitter that this season. It's going to be a horrible season and what have you. But this season, we're not doing that. We're still investing in younger players. We're still...
West Ham 2-0.
Who scored the goal? Who scored the goal? Who's got the goal? Zuma. Ooh. Isn't he the one who kicked the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even get punished, did he, for that? Did he get punished?
He got kind of. PDSA removed his cat string, but we're here to talk about Sunderland. Cat kicker. There you go. For me, should we talk about the people that are coming into the club now rather than the people that are leaving? Because I think we've had a good chunk of this pod about people who are leaving.
Yeah.
We've got
the bad news out of the way. The bad news out of the way.
Yeah, it's been a good chunk, and I think it's been a healthy little chat though around it. I think, well, in summary, Embo and Gooch have guaranteed have gone. They've released statements on those two players. Stewart is highly likely to go, but we've had two players come in today. Burstone Mason, the loanee, 12 months from Chelsea, and the Ukrainian lad from Zoroya Luhansk for Nasri Russian. Russian has been compared to Mudryk, who obviously Chelsea bought last season for stupid money. His numbers in that same league roughly match what Mudryk did. So we've got a potential steal in Russian, but he's obviously been rumoured for quite a while. There's still work permit stuff, but the agreement is officially online. It's on the club website. It's on the news. What are we thinking to? I'll do the way that we already came in. So what do we think to Burstow first? I'll go on a round robin. So we'll do Paul first, then Jacob, then Cabby, and then on the other way on the next player on Russian, we'll do it the other way around. So what are we thinking?
On the lad from Chelsea.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised we actually went in for him. Because if Brad was actually on here, he would tell you actually that nearly all day today, I've actually spoke to Brad, and I keep going to Brad. Oh, we're going after this player, we're going after that player. It's like, how many players are we getting in? So I was keep checking, the Athletic, see if there was anything in it, and I know it won't, but I said to Brad, I actually hope there's a loan to buy in this, but unfortunately, it sounds like there isn't.
There might not be an option to buy on him, but I think it is. I think he is the potential direct replacement and a kind of a hybrid between Amad Diallo and Ross Stewart. He's a centre forward, but the difference he makes, or what I've seen from his highlights at the very least, he can switch on a turn, cause a lot of problems for defenders, and he'll bag goals or at least create other players to have goals. He looks like an absolute talent, and he needs to be playing first team football. That's why I think the loanee move is perfect for him. Chelsea wouldn't give him that. We will.
He was in League One last season.
Yeah. I really rate him. Jacob, what about you?
He seems good from a few clips I've seen, and we get all these young players, from Premier League clubs, which is good to see, because by the time we get to Prem, I think they'll be even better than what they are now. And yes, his stats may not be the best, but I think it was like that with Sims, wasn't it, and Diallo, and you got to give players time. So
yeah,
he can't be a bad player, can he? If he's in the academy for Chelsea, can he? He can't be a terrible player. So I'm happy with it, and he has a good attitude from what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
What we need.
So you said? I thought you said.
I wish him all the best. So.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure he can bang goals in for the lads.
Yeah. Norman's popped in and says, if we get Pembele, he is a wonder player and hope he signs when he arrives. So like you said, we've got a couple of extra names that are not confirmed yet. So we'll only talk about the confirmed ones here.
He's the one at the academy have medical.
Yeah. Like I said, until it comes on the official, we've signed this player. I'm holding my judgment on people that are coming in. We've got 3 players at the academy right now getting medicals. The treadmills must be off the bloody walls today, but
they'll have the phones off the wall now.
Yeah, the amount of people trying to get in touch with the media team and stuff like that would be ridiculous. Cabby,
hello.
What's your thoughts on the Chelsea loanee lad?
Yeah, how long have we got him on loan for? Just the end of the season? 12
months. Like I said, exactly like we do with Ahmad. I've pinned the comment from SF Subsea says, Ahmad is better, prove me wrong. And I think this player has the potential to do that. What do you reckon?
I think it's great coming from Chelsea. I think it's just what we need. I just hope the lad is as hungry as what Amad Diallo was, but we've got to give the lad a chance, and it's a positive all the way around as far as I'm concerned, because we're needing players. What position is he again?
He's a striker. He's now a striker. Yeah. He is a.
I mean,
a number 9 or no, he's more like a number 10 or 11. He's not like
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah.
he's not a target man,
Well,
but he is a yeah.
We're struggling for firepower, so right, it's all good news, isn't it? I mean, I'm
Mhm.
chuffed a bit for that, and just hope the crowd get behind him and give him support he needs, and it's someone we can fall in love again with, and he'll be bugger off again at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a blasphemous name in here. I think that's my end. Sorry, I'll turn Cabio. I'll put him on 150%, so you burst your eardrums now.
Oh, Luton's just scored.
2-1, nice. There's sorry, I just saw Michi, and I think that means Mishu coming back. I wouldn't want Mishu back, to be honest. Not after how he said he didn't want to come back at the end of the season. It's literally been 4 games since he said that, essentially. So no, let's let him cool off. Go develop his career out in the French leagues and come back a better human. You don't slag off the team that you just played a year with. It doesn't make sense. I don't want him back. But yeah, on this Chelsea lad, he reminds me, his playstyle reminds me a lot of Josie Altidore. Now that is a blasphemous name, I know. Sorry boys, but he's a target man. People will cross the ball into him. Clark and Roberts have a man to focus on in him, and he will turn the ball. He'll either have a shot himself or he'll provide it to somebody else who's closer in the way of the goal. The way we're currently playing, that's what we want Hamir to do. That's what we want Ross Stewart to do when he comes back. He will do that. He can definitely do that. He does it at all levels. He's done it pretty much every team he's ever started for. He can either score the goal directly himself, bang it in the top right, top left, wherever there's a space in the goal, essentially, or find a player in a better position. And that's essentially what we need in that final third. We've been calling out for it, and I think he will provide it. That's my thought on it, in anyways. So then, yeah, moving on to what I think is the replacement for Roberts if he was to go in Russian, the Ukrainian lad. Kavi, what's your thoughts on Russian?
It's something that's been hanging around for seems to be eternity, doesn't it? I don't really know much about the bloke, to be honest with you. I'm seeing the reports and that. It all seems good. He seems a big physical player. Be great to have him on board, and then let's just hope he can do the proof in the pudding on the pitch. And that's what matters, doesn't it? But yeah, it is exciting times. It's a new player. Like I say, he's a big, bulky player. That's what we need. So let's just fingers crossed he does the business for the lads. But like I say, I don't really know much about him. I don't think as many fans do either.
Yeah, I think he's an unknown entity in this kind of league, right? And I think that's what you get when you sign somebody from Eastern Europe. But
yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely.
That's why we've got what's it called? We've got scouts, we've got reviewers, we've got people on the ground, agents, that kind of thing. That's what professionals are hired for, to find these gems, find these players in pretty much neglected leagues and bring them into the spotlight. I think we'll do that quite well with Russian. Yeah, it can prove us wrong, but look, why have we got Bennett? Jewison Bennett is exactly the same. Left, right wing. We're looking for more creative options and providing people in the middle of the box with more opportunities. That's, I think, a really good sign that we've got these young creative players. We're doing the other way around, aren't we? So it's Paul now, then Jacob again. So Paul, what's your Russian? Yeah.
On the Ukraine lad.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy that we are actually going after him.
We've got him, mate. We haven't got after him. We've got him now. He's confirmed. Confirmed.
Yeah, no, I'm just pleased that we actually got him. You know, I have been looking at clips of him, and he does look actually good. So
yeah,
see what he does actually when he plays.
Yeah. So Dale's mentioned there, Bennett never gets a game. Does Russian have that same kind of vibe to you? When we signed Bennett, it felt like an out of a blue signing, but then you looked at his highlights and you're like, he plays for Costa Rica, he plays for the national team, he's clearly got a talent. Are you getting the same kind of vibes as Bennett with him, or are you just thinking he's just going to be completely like a Clark Roberts replacement?
I think he could be a Clark and Roberts replacement, maybe like for the future.
It could be if Clark's head's turned. That's what I think. Like I said, we've got replacements for people already lined up, and I think that might upset some people, but it also might drive others to perform better. The very easy key example of that is Patterson and Bishop. Bishop has come in because we see him as a better option than Bass. Bass has gone out on loan, but Patterson has a position that Bishop is trying to fight for. Bishop came from Man U. He wants to play first team football. He will, if we don't get another better keeper in the next window or the window after, he will replace Patterson if he ever leaves. That's the whole nature of football and players in there. So, who do you see Russian replacing, Paul? Is it more Clark? Is it more Roberts? Is it Bennett? Who do you think that talent's coming in for? Is it somebody completely new?
I would say probably Jack Clark.
Clark, yeah, okay. So how would you manage that? One game Tuesday, the weekday games with one player the weekend, or is it just whoever's better in the training session the game before? Oh, Elliot, thank you for that. I'll just double check before I announce it on here. Jacob, what's your sorry?
I would do what you said. Like if we've got 2 games a week, then Mobrway will probably put Clark in one game, and then the Ukraine lad in the other.
Yeah, put them in the other, alternate them, just get them both match ready, and yeah. Jacob, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, from what I've seen, from what some other YouTubers have shown, when they've talked about him, they've shown clips of him, some of the goals he's scored. It does seem like a quality player, and it was going on for ages, wasn't it? The rumours of him coming, and I'm just glad it's over because I think we've got ourselves a good young lad who can chip some goals in, and I wish him all the best, and I hope he enjoys his time at Sunderland. So I think we've got ourselves another good player as well as Mason,
especially for 4 years.
Yeah, have we been saying Russian? He's definitely Ukrainian, by the way.
Yeah, he's Ukrainian. Don't say he's Russian.
Yeah,
he'll probably come to your house and
it's just Adam just popped in Russian. I was like, we haven't mentioned he was Russian at any point because I don't want to get us off on a bad foot with him already.
Yeah.
Oh, Russian is his name. Russian is his name. Right, okay, we've been saying Russian the Ukrainian. That was close.
It'd be like calling a Scottish person English. It'd be like calling a Scottish person English.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. But...
Oh, Mr. Walsh. Yeah. Mr. Welsh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. That's so we're about an hour away from the transfer deadline. No confirmations have come in yet. I think the Ross Stewart deal looks like it's confirmed. There's rumours that he's failed his medical, but there's rumours he's passed his medical. I think next hour will confirm if he leaves the club or not. I will be doing a players in and out video. If I can quickly show you that would be brilliant. But in the interim, while that's loading up, what's your predictions for the Southampton Sunderland game tomorrow? I don't think we'll see Ross Stewart make an appearance for either team, whoever he turns up to be playing for the following game. What's your predictions for that game, boys? Cabby, you go first. What's your prediction?
I'm going Sunderland 1, Southampton 3. Hope I'm wrong, but I just think they've just come down from the Prem. I just think they'll just have a bit more, bit like when we played Burnley at the stadium last season. I think they'll just have a bit too much for us.
Yeah, agree. 100% agree. Paul?
Well, with Russell Martin in charge of them, it will be tricky, but I'm going to put my head out there and I'm going to say 2-1 Sunderland.
That is putting your neck outside the window waiting to get slapped off by a lamppost.
They have had some unexpected results, though, Southampton, haven't they? Like drawing with Norwich and Swansea, so...
Yeah. No, David the Doofus, Mr. Dove, I'm also agreeing. I'm going to say Sunderland 2-0 loss at home to Southampton. They're just... They, to me, have a better better infrastructure, better quality of player. They've come from the Premier League. Yes, they've got rid of Ward-Prowse and some big names, but they've still got quality Premier League quality players in there. Jacob, what are you saying?
I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
You matching Leighton with a Desmond 2-2?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
If Norwich and Swansea can get a point against Southampton, then I don't see why we can't.
Yeah. Dale brings up a good point. We owe them a thrashing. They beat us 8-0. Should we just go and absolutely destroy them? That would be much better.
I mean, the last time we played them at the Stadium of Light, it was 16-17 season. We lost 4-0 to them at home. So
we were terrible that match. I remember watching that, Jacob. We were awful.
Oh, I genuinely reviewed my interest in football after that game. It was atrocious.
That previous game before that, we beat Crystal Palace 4-0. So do you not think that's ironic?
Yeah.
The previous game we won 4-0, and then we just lost 4-0 the next game.
Yeah. Kevin is also said 1-1. There you go. SAF's Uploads is going with 2-1 Southampton, and Simon, welcome along, is said 4-0 to Southampton. So, with the predictions out of the way, if you've got any in after the stream's ended, let me know in the comments what you think the prediction's going to be. But for those watching this, here is my template for the predictions video that we've got coming up. I have quite a lot of players, who they come from, what they did, the match stats that they did last season, and where they're going forward. I've got to make a couple of changes because obviously some players are staying, some players are going, and yeah, we've got to work it from there. But little sneak tease, there will be a players in and out video once everything is done and dusted and the dust is settled. So I look forward to bringing that to you. We've got the game tomorrow on the watch along, and yeah, until tomorrow. Well, lads, catch you in a bit. Thank you very much.
TM.
FTM.
Hi, lads.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Toodaloo. See you later.